What's up? Welcome to episode 96, the Bure episode, the second Bure episode. We are the PP1 podcast. I'm Ryan Hank, sitting in my basement watching the post-game show of the New York Islanders who are going to Game 7 against Tampa Bay Lightning. I missed the goal.
It's crazy.
Because I was pooping. I'm sorry. And my buddy Ted, he's at the office today. Sun's out, guns out. He is ready to rock. We are part of the Dean Blundell Network. We are partnered with Summer Skates, and we got a new little partner leading up to our 100th episode. And you may want to know who that is. I'm going to tell you. Beyond the Green. Have you heard of Beyond the Green?
Some high image quality there.
I know. It's there. It is.
That's one we could find.
That's what we could get at short notice. Beyond the Green has hooked us up with some very, very cool stuff. We got. I'm assuming you guys golf, right? We got a pretty wicked little hat, little Travis Matthew. Look at this. That's pretty slick, kind of like a Dodgers LA kind of style. We've got a golf glove,
don't show everything. Yeah, do we want to unveil everything?
I'm just going to show a couple things. There's some other stuff there. So we're putting that together. We're going to give you a pair of summer skates. I got a NHL, like one of those playoff shirts. Apparently I won one of those. So I got way too many shirts. So brand new playoff t-shirt, has all the divisions on the back. It's got the Canucks on it. So it's not really a playoff shirt. It's more of just, it's an NHL licensed tee.
That's the hook, right? We want to give an NHL shirt away, but like you have to say like it's got the Canucks on it.
Yeah, so
it's what you want.
It has one of the 31 teams that you like. So that's good. That's nice. So we got that, and we're working on something with Player's Choice as well, and maybe more. I have no idea. I'm here to give stuff away.
Does it have the Kraken on it?
No, it doesn't. Because they're not in the league yet. It just has all this year's division. So it has North Division, has
the weird visions,
the East, the West, the South. Is that even what they're all called? I don't even remember. I don't even care. It doesn't really matter.
Do you remember the hoopla or the weirdness that happened when they named the division the Metropolitan Division?
Like just and like the Pacific and everything?
Like when they sort of like reorganized the divisions, they called it the Metropolitan Division. That like pissed people off for whatever reason. I don't know.
They're all in the metropolitan area.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
I mean, we're on the Pacific. We have been in the Northwest Division. Hey, fitting for either of those.
Could have been the Met Division. Might have made more sense.
Welcome to the Met. It's just a bunch of like performances and plays. I don't know. So last week I told you about my my idea for the motorbike test. Remember I told you about that?
This is I think 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks, and then you followed up the next week. I think
feels like last week.
You're back-to-back motorbike tests. You're big on that.
So I was in that laneway behind Home Depot. It seems like all the action happens back there. So I'm going there. This would have been Monday night, I think. Had to go. I don't even remember why I was there. Probably getting groceries or something. Anyway, pulling behind Home Depot, driving along on the backside of Enterprise. I'm going to assume a transient pair of humans, a couple ladies. Couldn't quite tell, but they didn't look like they were with it 100%. First lady runs and cross. Like I'm doing like 50. I had to slow down because I saw them. There's no crosswalk there. So don't cross until I'm gone. There's nobody else. It's just me. It's just me.
It's like quail.
Yes. It was like quail. Here's the thing. First person goes, waiting for the second person. I'm still driving. Second person, common courtesy. I don't want to get hit by a car. I'm going to wait it out for, 3 seconds. Do you have 3 seconds to spare me? She did not. Freaked me right out. Decides to continue walking, following her friend, like 2 seconds after friend crosses the street. I just about hit this lady, honk my horn. She's looking at me like I'm the one that made the mistake. No, lady, you decide to walk into oncoming traffic and create a scene. I have no idea what's going to happen next week, but it feels like there's going to be a third story.
I feel like you should probably take that road at least one more time.
It's interesting. And now I'm saying maybe you need to start taking this road. There's
I
a lot
take the road, the same road you do, the Enterprise Road, every day,
and nothing happens there.
I've never.
Maybe
You get cut off and stuff like that, but
oh yeah,
but nothing crazy.
but it was interesting. So I thought I got to remember this because this is going to matter. So you're welcome, transient lady. I didn't kill you. It's probably
Good job, Brian.
Probably for the best. Yeah. So I could continue on my life. Have you been out in the sun at all this week? I mean, your sun's out, guns out. Clearly, I'm not.
Well, I'm in the office right now, and there's no AC in here at the moment, and
it can be a little hot in there.
It's 20 after 8, and it's like 27 degrees in here.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm 26 in here, so we're a degree off. It's not bad.
It's hot. I went camping this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, it was good.
Well,
it was hot, and it was hot for like a little bit. Like we went to the Fintry area, and there's like big 380 stairs or something like that to the top. So it was super hot then, and the rest of it was just sort of rainy and windy.
Right. Makes sense.
That's what she goes.
That's you go in the mountains, things happen. Or where you're on the lake.
Oh man, we made these things called toasties. Have you heard of toasties before? So it's like you get these two sort of sticks that are attached to like two square cast iron pans.
Right.
And you fold them together and they make a perfect rectangle.
Okay.
And so you put the cast iron oil on it and you heat it up, so it's scorching hot in the fire, right? Mm-hmm. You pull the pan out, you open it up, and then you put basically a grilled cheese sandwich in it, but then you also add like meat and avocado and like lunch meat and stuff like that, banana peppers, whatever you like. Butter it on both sides, plop it in the toasty, close it back up, hold it over the fire for like 5 minutes on both sides. It's like the most delicious thing you've ever eaten. It was so good.
You could do that with a taco, maybe.
Yeah, you probably taco like a soft taco, but you can put whatever you want in it. It's unreal.
What if you did like taco chips on the bottom, put all your crap on, taco chips on taco chips on the top, covered it with cheese, let it all kind of crisp up.
Now you're looking at space, I think, is the issue at that point. But I like where you're headed with it.
I might test it out anyway.
Yeah. So look these things out there. Deep Woods makes them.
We're going next week camping, so maybe I could try out my theory here.
Yeah, I think go for it.
I think I might. So the Islanders, as we stated before, have just won Game 6. They are going to Game 7 2 nights from now. Montreal Canadiens, as I've said on many shows, including this one, can you really count them out 3 times? Crazy. I don't think so. I don't think you can count this team out 3 times. They've now proven all the momentum seems to be in their way. And I say what you will, that was a pretty monumental way to, and they're not exciting, but they're winning. And they're making it difficult to get into the series.
Kind of like Vancouver was doing.
Yeah.
In their run. Like, it wasn't exciting. It's exciting if you're Canucks fan.
They're winning. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're the rest of the world watching, you're probably not into watching a team get outshot like 45-25 and still win games.
I don't like it. I don't. But if you win a Stanley Cup, I'm not saying them, but in general, if you win a cup based on that model, like the New Jersey model, I guess, but they scored. New Jersey scored when they won.
Flags fly forever.
Flags do fly forever. I
don't think it matters. What I can tell you, I think, is that the NHL probably does not want a Montreal-New York Islander final.
Ugh. Now at that point,
it's gonna like hurt the pocketbooks. That's like the two teams. They don't score that much, right? I mean, Montreal does a good job possession-wise. Friend Kyle and I were talking about this. They do a good job possession-wise. He's called them like Vegas light, but they don't have any like real like. They have a couple, but honestly, as a team, they don't finish particularly well. But if they get that lead, they can just control play, right? So,
and there's no marketing there. If it's Vegas,
Montreal.
Tampa, yeah, there's no real marketing aspect to the league. They're like, oh, the Canadians made it. Go Canada. And then, Scotiabank does their whole stupid thing, how they're Canada's team. But you think about it, if it's Vegas, Tampa, if somehow that happens, now you've got 2 teams that you can easily market. Oh, Vegas is back to the Stanley Cup. Tampa's looking to defend their title. Everybody wants to see that. You go from hot market East Coast, hot market West Coast, sexy time. Everybody loves it. It's easy to sell. You get the Islanders and you get the Canadians. You're thinking, hey, NASA, Matt Barzal, Carey Price.
Barzal is dope though.
He is dope. I'm not crapping on.
It's just not the glamorous matchup that the league was probably hoping for.
No, I don't know. They're exciting to watch. They're a really fun team to watch. And I mean, in some markets, so is Montreal. Not this one, but I don't know. I'm now torn because whatever happens now, my brain is taken over, and I wanted Montreal to win this past series, but I've been cheering for Vegas for the last few. So I really don't know what's going to happen. Let's say it's Montreal and Islanders. Am I going to cheer for the Islanders? Because that kind of goes against me and my thinkings. I don't know. I don't know. But I guess this is a Canucks podcast. Yeah, this is a Canucks podcast, so we should probably get the small amount of Canucks.
On that note, though, I can tell you that if Montreal makes the final, I don't want them to win.
Like full stop. You don't want them to win.
Yeah, that's it. I can't have another Canadian team win before Vancouver.
Do you know any obnoxious Canadiens fans? Like,
I think that. Okay, so I don't.
Okay,
but if they win, I will.
Well, they'll come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, we'll never hear the end of it. I think that probably some other hardcore fans of other teams would probably say the same thing, right? Like, you don't want another Canadian team winning because then it'll be Canada's team and you'll never hear the end of it. It's not like the Raptors, right, where we can all get on board, or the Jays.
Yeah. Right? Jays are looking good again. They finally came back, had a decent series. They didn't look so good the series prior, but, you know, that's baseball, folks. You need pitching.
Vladdy's big old butt's paying off for him.
Yeah, too bad they don't have pitching.
Did you see this? It's the...
Where did you get that?
I got it at Cask and Barrel up in the west side. So
here's
Spectrum birthday cake.
There you go. So for the podcast version of this, that is the Spectrum birthday cake beer, which I've been looking for. I may have to do some searching because I don't feel like driving all the way to the west side just for one beer. That's a long way to go.
I also got for Father's Day, I got a like the milk stout pack. So it's made with lactose sugar. So it had like raspberry milk stout, chocolate peanut butter milk stout, a imperial milk stout was like 9% or something like that.
Interesting.
And then a milk stout chai, which was also really good.
I don't like chai.
Oh,
how does that beer in your hand taste right now?
It's delicious.
So, like, what are the notes? What's the flavor?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm tasting. I just think that I'm tasting birthday cake because that's what's written on the can.
So it's got a
little bit of a sweetness to it, though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. I would try it.
Excellent. Well, I need to get this, so at some point I will make sure that I'm on that. So, Spectrum, if you want to sponsor us, we're more than happy to flog your stuff here.
Yeah, we like what you're doing.
The Canucks, they made it official. Henrik and Daniel Sedin are once again under the fold, which is so awesome. You know why it's awesome? Besides the obvious. They have just signed two guys that are going to be what the late, great Jason Botchford was waiting to see happen again in Vancouver. The Canucks got their way to sec guys. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe we shouldn't do that.
The check, right? The check and balance.
And are you really going to go over Henrik and Daniel's head? Be like, no, we think this is best for the organization. We've been here a little bit longer. I think you should listen to us. They're going to oversee player development. They're going to oversee the farm team, which sounds like they're going to have their hands in that a lot, as well as I'm sure they're going to be helping out when it comes to draft day, as well as free agency and maybe any trades. This is a great move. This isn't just the Trevor Linden. What's the word I'm looking for? The figurehead signing, just to boost the ratings for this team, because clearly things have been going wrong, especially after the Chris Gear interview when he was talking about how they were going to get aggressive with teams that are strapped up against the salary cap, and that they were going to make some moves, potential buyouts, this, that, and the other. Just the audibles of this, the audacity, the what's the word? Just the sounds of things. I'm excited. I think the Canucks, for once in a very long time, are saying the right things, and they actually make sense. They actually correlate with what we are expecting to see. It's not just we're saying this and, oh, well, why are they doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this is good for the team.
I hear you. I think if you've had a chance to go on The Athletic and read Thomas Trance's article on the whole thing, he touches on, like, this is a move that the Canucks are making right now. So you kind of you feel like you want to be cynical, right?
Right.
But then it's at the same time it's the Twins, so you feel like you have to take a step back and walk away from the cynicism, like a little bit, right? So
right.
But you brought that up about them, the way to set guys, right? Like, they're special advisors. Maybe that's Weiss Broad's job. I don't know.
Well, and that's the other question everybody's been asking. What is his actual job then?
Nobody really knows. But they're there as special advisors. They're going to have their sort of fingers in every little pool, so to speak. But maybe they don't know every in and out of every nuance of every situation. But I think they're such level-headed guys that they can ask the common sense question, right? I mean, when you're in meetings at work, or when you're talking to clients, it's important to ask good questions, right? And it's important to ask questions that people are going to stop and think about for a minute, right? And I think that the Twins are definitely those guys. And I mean, he talks about the fact that, they're so smart because they know what they know, but they also know what they don't know.
Exactly.
Right? So they're not going to wade into waters where they shouldn't be. That, trust me, that if they took this job, they have a complete understanding of what it is they're supposed to be doing. Even though the funny thing is about this is that the team hasn't really mentioned what their exact jobs are, other than being a special advisor too, right? So
I think that's kind of good too, because it does create some mystery to it.
I'm sure we don't want mystery as Canucks fans, right? But I mean, he brings up another good point, Thomas Drance says, about the fact that, hey, maybe they're working in the ilk of a Steve Yzerman or a Chris Drury, where they're going to be learning on the job for the next little bit and learning the ins and outs of the business, not so much saying that, Jim Benning is going to be their guidance or their teacher for the whole thing. But you can learn a job from somebody and then apply your own tactics and eventually do it better. And the Twins, you feel like, have that capability, right?
Is this like the Mike Keenan signing? Like, is it, or not the?
Are you comparing the Twins to Mike Keenan?
No. Hear me out.
Is this a hear me out? Are we still doing that?
No, this is like the Rick Lee, Mike Keenan thing. So basically, you're hiring the guy that's going to take your job. Because they brought in Mike Keenan, and then didn't Mike Keenan get rid of Rick Lee right after that?
I can't remember.
Anyway, feel free to correct me, anybody else that is out there if you're watching. But basically, they've hired the Sedins to be groomed potentially. I mean, it wouldn't be crazy to think as the next AGM combo. And then it makes you think now they're each the way to set guy at that point.
Well,
right?
I say they've gone their whole lives saying wait a sec to each other.
Yeah. It's usually Henrik like, wait a sec, I could shoot it. No, I'm going to pass it. And Dan is like, should I shoot it? Nah, I don't know. You're right, though. But I look at that now, and you've got two guys, they've been through all versions of the salary cap. They've been through lockouts. They've been through a Stanley Cup run. They've been through heartache. They've been through tragedy. They've seen a lot on this team. They've been through the Olympics, so they've seen the international side of things. They've seen what it looks like for guys on the fourth line. They've seen what it looks like to get groomed by Trevor Linden. They've also seen what it's like to groom a player to come up through the rankings. So they've seen it as players, but they've also seen it as businessmen, and they've seen it as guys that have been involved in this organization for a long enough time that when push comes to shove, I think it's fair to say there's a very good chance they could be the next combo that is in charge of this team, or a very high, something of that. I do believe it's possible. You could see a co-GM or GM AGM, kind of like captain assistant captain deal for the Sedins, and this is a great way to start it because there is a good change coming.
Wouldn't that be wild, right? I mean,
it would be.
We feel like them getting drafted 1-2, playing on the same team, playing on the same line. I mean, very likely they go into the Hall together. There's all this talk that they could go in the Hall as one, right? They could go in as Daniel and Henrik Sedin, right?
My kid calls it Haniel or Daniel.
Olympic gold medals together, right? I mean, They very could they could be the first GM combo. I mean, they could
And
be
it
up there
wouldn't be weird
as
though.
one big brain power head, right? I mean,
And it wouldn't be weird. It wouldn't
and
be.
it wouldn't be weird because it's the twins, right? It wouldn't
Yeah.
be like Luongo's the captain weird. It would be like it's not weird. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, they've got their success with they've got the horse, right? Or plural horses. Do they for the racetrack? Like like I said, they're smart guys. They're super fit, so they're going to be challenging anybody that comes into the organization. Like, hey, well, we can still do it.
Yeah,
so
and I think there's like a level of credibility with the players too that they still hold.
there. Yeah,
right. So
I don't know.
I like it. But I really like the Trevor Linden thing too, right? I mean, I don't want them.
See, I did.
I think they really fucked the Linden thing up, right?
I
Linden,
think
I'm sure
the thing they did.
Linden, I'm sure was part of that. But the team was part of that.
Yeah,
Benning was part of that. Ownership was part of that, right? And I don't think they're going to be completely insulated from everything, obviously, right? But I just don't want it to go awry in that fashion.
Right.
I want them to succeed.
I never liked the Linden signing because when he retired, he didn't want to go back into hockey. And I truly feel it wasn't forced because you can't force him to do anything, but it's almost like they made it so that it was do us a solid for the organization and we're going to make sure that you're put in a good light. And then they totally screwed him. They basically, Brett screwed Vince.
Screwed him. It was the screw job for sure.
Yeah, it was a royal screw job. And I think a lot of people know that. So it's tough to get past it because I think it did sully his reputation. But at the same time, I think it was just a bad call on everybody's part to make that part of, that next part of the Canucks history.
It's like a Gretzky as head coach thing.
Yeah, it shouldn't have happened. Gretzky, we all have way too much respect for Wayne Gretzky to put him on a head coach. And I mean, it's Wayne Gretzky. You can't say no to the guy. So give him a shot. But at the same time, look what he did with the Olympic team. Like he gets it. He was also dealing with the creme de la creme of the NHL when that all happened. But he also put together a pretty awful team in 2006. So, he's got to that. So
it probably shouldn't have been him shooting in Nagano in 98 either.
Oh, geez. How does that even make sense? Like, really? You can bring that up instantly. I'm like, no, that pisses me off. Just ridiculous. So anyway, pretty awesome for the Sedins. I think it's a great move for the Vancouver Canucks. There's another thing that I was looking at. This Montreal-Vegas series has been pretty interesting. Have you been watching it intently or no?
Not intently. I've been like tuning off and on kind of thing, like when I have time.
Right.
If there's not more important things
but
to do. I don't put I don't set aside the 2 hours and a half hour or whatever to watch this game.
The storyline though. What's been going on, like the Fleury getting pulled for Leonard and all that.
Which is pretty funny because it was really flipped the other way around last year.
You know what I thought was super interesting, and it brought me right back to that awful year because we're gluttons for punishment. What if the Canucks had done that? What if they had said, you know what, Luongo, you're our guy, but for the betterment of winning a ring, this is the move we have to make for one game to reset everything and get it back to normal. I mean, Fleury still lost, but he played a pretty decent game. He has his gaff. They put Leonard in, works out. They go back to Fleury. They lose, which you can't predict, but it still reset the bar, right? It got everybody back to square. And now mentally you're thinking, okay, yeah, I had a bad game. We bounced back. My partner has me. That was the one time that the Canucks could have made that work. And I disagreed with it at the time because Luongo had 2 shutouts in that series and he was potentially a winner, whatever it was. He probably would have won the Conn Smythe, arguably.
It was one of those rare situations where he was either going to be the GOAT or the GOAT.
And he was. He was. So, I don't like bringing it up, but it was really interesting, I thought, because Vegas has done this a few times with obviously the backstab last year. I thought that was pretty interesting when they brought the sword out. And then this was kind of the less talked about version of the same thing, right? If Alan Walsh had come out and done something similar, that would have been pretty interesting. It wasn't. I think there's an interesting parallel there. That's all that I think Very, very similar situation that you've got a star goalie. I mean, Luongo probably had a lot more clout going into obviously a Stanley Cup. Contract was pretty heavy as well. But you have a guy that was easily capable of winning a game, especially a guy that was from the area. So if anybody was going to be able to take it, like he was a Boston kid, right? So anyway, I thought it was interesting, something to ponder about. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole thing's interesting. Even the fact that the way that Vegas is handling goaltending this year compared to how they did it last year. I mean,
yeah,
they made the trade for Leonard, brought him in, eventually gave him the reins. Fleury was there. And I don't know about you, but I thought at the end of last year, it was like, there's no way Fleury is returning. And lo and behold, he's
there.
He's good to go again. And he's the guy that's driving the bus through the playoffs, right?
It's a weird dynamic that's going on there. And maybe that's why it works. I don't know. know. Now, there's
the right time in the series. They could go to Leonard if they want. It's fine.
Yeah. It was right in that cusp, right? I mean, I guess if it fails, they're down 3-1, but it worked out, and it's still a series. Did you see? Now I hope you did, because Chris Phillips definitely saw it, and I got one more thing to go with after this. Did you see that sequence of the male birth photo? That cartoon?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so
is this something I can YouTube right now?
No, I'm just going to text you it because it's going to be that much more funny. So this I saw floating around on Twitter, and it's absolutely disgusting, but knowing my sixth sense of humor, I laughed uncontrollably when I saw it for the first time. So what it is basically if a man were to give birth instead of...
They did this already. There's a movie.
I know. But this is the graphic version of what happened. And I'm going to send this to you. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the exact reaction I'm looking for. But please look at all 6 pictures just to get the good laugh out of it. I'll wait.
Okay. I actually had to turn my phone on for this.
Okay. So basically...
So here we go. I'm loading up here.
It's as disgusting as you think it is. Chris Phillips from the Ball Hawks podcast said, this has to stop. No,
Did you text this to me or what? I don't see it.
I just texted it to you. So you should have it any second.
There it is. Okay.
So you got to go frame by frame.
Okay.
It's actually hilarious and disgusting at the same time. But there's a reason why men shouldn't be having babies.
Okay. So he's in... Okay, so do I need to give a description of this because he's in there getting an ultrasound on his wiener?
Yeah. So
now he's out with a walk for his wife, and he's got a humongous bulge in his pants.
Yeah.
Now they're doing baby photos with his humongous bulgy wiener.
Yeah, which is still super awkward.
Now she's posing with the humongous bulgy wiener, which doesn't even look like a wiener at this point. It just looks like a penis head on top of a ball.
It looks like the balloon from Super Mario World.
Oh, then it's so bad.
So like like how you put your hand on the baby's stomach,
and now it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, it's the worst possible.
And then the last photo actually might be the worst.
You know what? I've never actually looked at this closely enough for the last one, but that is disgusting. So anyway, that's a good laugh. It's disgusting in every possible way, but it's a good laugh, and it just proves why there's no way a man could ever give birth, because that's about as graphic as you could possibly get in a cartoon.
It'd have to be a C-section thing, so we probably lost all our listeners now at this point.
That's okay. No, actually, I think we probably gained some steam just based on that. So I thought it was hilarious. So I'm going to move around a little bit here. That's
just brutal.
You can't unsee it, right? It's just one of those things you can't unsee.
It's broken.
I am bringing back our very amazing sequence of events here. Our new segment, hypothetically speaking. We should almost have like a little kind of, or like a like the.
You have to add a little sound bite or something
like that. It might take me some time, but I would like to get in because I enjoy this. Everybody else has a segment, and because we're not doing dudes and guys because it's our off season. I think it'd be a lot of fun if I bring this up, and I've got a couple good ones for you. I'm sure you've read them, but maybe you haven't. So let's get into this. Hypothetically speaking, here's the first one. Would you rather every turning lane has a guy that clearly can go but doesn't, and you have to wait a whole other light to finally go. So you know that feeling when like there's a guy in the middle of the intersection, he can clearly go but he's not turning, and you're sitting there and like you're raging. You're like,
Like
guy,
he's sketched out, or maybe
both
he's
go here.
not paying attention, or he doesn't think that his car has enough jam to get across the highway.
Or he's just not paying attention. But
Many different rules,
we can both go. Like there's enough time we can both go. Traffic isn't quite
like
there.
if you pick it up a little bit, bro, we can both make it.
Right.
Come on, buddy, you can do it.
Would you rather every time you go into a turning lane that happens, which is awful, or would you rather that it always feels like you have a hair in your mouth?
Oh, that's terrible.
Isn't that just like, because it's in there and you're always trying to fish it out?
Like,
yeah.
No, that's awful.
So you take
the turning lane. I could not spend my life having a hair in my mouth at all times.
It feels like it, but it's not actually.
Why did you come up with this? This is awful.
I don't know. I have to think really, really hard on these ones. So my brain goes into a place that a lot of people can't access.
You were probably sitting in the turn lane.
Oh, I was.
Couldn't go.
I was like,
and then realized that you had a mustache hair in your mouth. That's probably what happened.
I've actually, since we've been wearing masks a lot, I find that I have like random hair that just sits in there. I'm like, why are you there? I mean, I have a really nice mustache, but still. So that's number one. Let's get into the next one here. Every 1 in 5 meals that you have has zero taste. It's like a 1 in 5 chance you're going to have a meal that has zero taste. So you could be eating a bag of chips. You could be out for the most expensive dinner of your life.
Like the surf and turf ribeye.
Yeah, and it tastes like nothing. Or you get every single joke and nothing is funny ever again.
Oh, I take the 1 in 5, and that wouldn't even be like in a heartbeat. I would do that.
I think, right?
It's a big deal, like
because you get like
because that could potentially be a positive thing. Like, say I'm over at your house and you've cooked Brussels sprouts or something like that, and we're friends, so I would never tell you that. You know, I think your Brussels sprouts taste like ass.
Yeah.
So I could just eat it, and I didn't even have to tell you that it's my bad meal. You know,
the worst possible thing, because knowing every joke, wouldn't that just be the worst? Like, just imagine how bad that would be. It'd be awful.
Just knowing the answer to every joke that's about to come out.
It'd just ruin everything, because everything, like everybody tries to be funny at some point, whether you're, the little ones, like we all try to make a joke, or your kids try to be funny, and you're like, this is all awful. It's like knowing every magic trick. Oh, look at this. We are into the future. That was a side profile of Ted.
The camera's going all weird on me.
Do you have a second camera that I don't know about?
Well, I have a little setup here. I got like the laptop, and then I have like the 2 screens because I'm at work.
Okay, I get you. I don't think I have a third one. So, do you have one for me, possibly?
I didn't come prepared.
That's a lot to ask, because like these are really oddball questions. So maybe bring one for next week.
Okay, just because I was camping on the weekend, I got one for you. Would you rather go camping and it be ridic windy?
Okay.
Or would you rather go camping and it just rained the whole time?
Oh, I'm going to take windy.
Really?
Windy you can work with, I think. Raining just makes it miserable. Like you can still go swimming in the lake when it's windy. It's not great sometimes, but if it's hot and windy, that's okay. If you got wind, you can put up a wall, because you see like a lot of the tables at the campsite, they've got the little wall situation. So you can block your barbecue or your little grill or whatever you got. Mm-hmm. So I think there's something to work with there. You work with a wall. I suppose you adapt. With rain, you always have to make sure you got a tarp, because like we still tent. We don't have a trailer.
But isn't a tarp kind of like a wall that's just a roof?
But it's just, so you're making a roof, and it's just then you have to live in the means of that one spot.
I get the logic here. I get what you're saying.
I don't know. I can't do it. I really can't. So I know you wanted to get into the mock draft, and I don't think I'm quite prepared for this yet. But I think over the next 2 episodes, we're going to go maybe whole hog on this. Now, we need to come up with, because this can't be just a normal mock draft. I think you're going to go about it in a way that is rational and grown up. I am going to go about it in a way that I'm going to see like one highlight, if I can, of every player in this draft in the first round, and I'm going to make a judgment based on that.
Have you gone through your highlights already?
No,
Okay.
no, I haven't.
So do you want to start at the back, because like obviously we still have to have defined.
Yeah, you don't want the best part to
31 overall was the Stanley Cup winner. Obviously, Stanley Cup final losing team. We're not going to pick for because we don't know.
Right.
Semifinal losing team with the most points. We think maybe Vegas, possibly Montreal.
Yeah.
And then semifinal team losing with the fewest points. But again, either the Islanders. We think probably the Islanders, but maybe Tampa.
Like I've only seen one guy's highlights this past year, and that was Connor Bedard. And he's not getting drafted for another, 2 years?
You're a bit early on that one, yeah.
I'm a bit early. The guy is amazing to watch. He's going to be that next star that we're going to all fawn over, and maybe the Canucks screw it all up or make an amazing trade and get him somehow. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Realistically, it's never going to happen, so that's okay.
Okay. But
that's the only guy I've really seen, and I mean, I see Rockets highlights, and thankfully that's going to be a lot of fun once they get back, but there's been bits and pieces that I've seen from them. Other than that, it's been guys that have already been drafted and are playing out and just padding their stats and trying to get their next step to the AHL. And then I haven't really seen a lot of, of the mock draft guys. So I'm gonna have to do some homework.
I say we go 28 to 16. So are you saying we're not going to mock tonight?
I mean, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
We can. We got like a half hour. I had like 2 more things we could go over, so we could probably go. I think I feel like I'm gonna have a ton of random audio that goes in, because I'm gonna have to see some YouTube stuff, right? Like I'm gonna have to see some clips of these guys. I feel. Am I not, like, what do you want to do?
Well, I don't know. I thought we were doing a mock, so I did a bunch of work for a mock.
Okay,
if we're not mocking, then that's cool too.
Okay, well let's get into it. So we're gonna do.
If we're watching random YouTube clips of audio and stuff, that's cool. We can do that.
We could do that, I suppose. I'm not gonna be good at sharing a screen, but we'll figure it out. So
I don't want to actually do that.
Okay, that's what I thought. We had a couple other things in here. Technically, like 2. Do you want to get into those and then we mock, or do you want to mock right now?
It's up to you.
I think we should dedicate a lot to this mock, because I think we can have a lot of fun.
It's fine. We can do that. I mean, 28 through potentially 29. We could know this tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I guess. But 28 to 16 might be fun, knowing that we could do the top 15 next week.
Okay.
And dedicate some time. We're talking about the better players, the top 15 of the draft. It's got the Canucks pick in there at 9. So
we're gonna go from the bottom down. So I'm looking
I think so, yeah.
I'm looking at what's this on the forecheck? I'm checking out theirs.
Wait a minute. Would you rather go 1?
I want to go backwards.
Want to go backwards? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking at so this 32nd pick, I guess, right? Because there's 32 teams now. Is that right?
Well, 31, because that's the funny part, right? The pick after Ottawa, so it'd be the 11th pick, was to the Arizona Coyotes, and they
don't draft.
They forfeited everything because they're idiots.
That's right. Okay.
They renounced the rights to 2020 4th overall pick Mitchell Miller. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
He was like the racist kid, the kid that got in.
Oh yeah.
So they renounced that. The only reason he fell to the 4th round because of all his off ice issues. So they renounced it.
Right.
And then they violated combine testing policy, and so they lost their 2020 second round pick, and they lost their 2021 first round pick.
You'd think with all the analytics they would know to not do those things.
Yeah, and for some reason I think they didn't have 1, 2, and 3 in the. I can't remember the last part of it, but
that's wild. So
they did a bad job.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick 3 guys. So 31, 30, 29. These are gonna be my 3 guys. Okay. So I think, is that how we're going to do this?
If you want.
Well, how are you?
You could just say who you're doing at 20.
Okay, let's do that.
29, and I'll say who I'm doing at 29.
I thought 31. 30.
No, we
Gotta
talked
go.
about this, Ryan.
All right. Sorry. Okay. This is why people come in here is they want to. So I think you're going to see towards the very end, Logan Stankoven is going to go at 29. And according,
Okay.
he's a forward with the Kamloops Blazers. He's a unique shooting talent, according to On the Forecheck, that doesn't require a set base or weight transfer to be effective. I think that's really good. He's got a high-end motor. So maybe I should.
Stankoven's good. I had Stankoven just falling outside of the first round for myself, but
okay. So I'm going to have him at 29. He's got a wide skating base, so that's good. You know what? I have a wide skating base, but my ankles go like this. So technically, we're a lot of the same player. So I like this guy. I think I'm going to be cheering for this Logan Stankoven kid. So there's my 29th pick.
All right. So that's to Colorado.
Okay. All right. I think that's going to be a great pick, Colorado. They seem to like these Western kids.
They like Stankoven types. I have Colorado taking Scott Morrow.
Scott Morrow, okay.
Yeah. So Shattuck, St. Mary's alumni. That's where he ended up having to play this year because obviously COVID couldn't get him onto a regular roster. So he had to spend another year in prep school.
Right.
That's okay. He's got like a ton of offense.
He was on Canucks Conversation, I think.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, they had him on. He seemed like a pretty smart kid.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got all the offensive chops in the world to play in the NHL. But Colorado selecting him this late in the draft means that he can take the time to work on like whatever defensive deficiencies that he has. So,
he's got time. They're not worried about him.
Yeah. Basically, he has every single physical tool that you would need to succeed, but possibly defensive gaps. So Scott Morrow will be my guy.
That's a good call. I like
big
that.
Guy too, like 6'2", 192.
Yeah, that's smart. And I mean, that's thinking Colorado. That's a smart pick. That's what they would do. Who has 28?
28 is Carolina.
Carolina. Okay.
I have them taking Xavier Bourgault.
Oh, I was wondering if you were going to pick him or not.
I can't tell if you're being a goof or not, but
I have no freaking.
So the Canes also took Vasily Ponomarev last year,
right?
Who he spent time playing with this year in Shawinigan.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. He's like, there's some guys in here who haven't had a ton of playing time, but I think like he already has that relationship with Ponomarev. Maybe he fits into that mold. He seems like a Carolina style draft pick. He's pretty skilled. He's ascending in the queue. He's got some more time on there, so he's really strong on the walls. But he fits the mold possession wise for that team. I think.
You know what? For Carolina, I think they're going to go with speed, and who better than a defenseman that can move the puck, that he's fast, and he's got a fast name. Carson Lambos. He's got good edges. He's adjusting his pivots to his speed, and sometimes good, sometimes not. So again, when you're getting a late first rounder, you're going to have, he's got an excellent shot, and he's showing that off. He plays for Winnipeg. So I don't know if we're going to see him in the Rockets reboot this year, because I know there's a few teams that they will not see.
Remember Reboot?
I do remember Reboot. That was a good show. So I think they go D. For the Carolina Hurricanes. Carson Lambos. You're my pick. Again,
okay.
Full disclosure. Clearly, we've got one person that has done a lot of homework and has, he knows what he's talking about. I am literally like, that looks like a guy that would go there. So maybe I'm right. Maybe this is like our buddy Darren picked his first fantasy football team just by the colors of jerseys, and he wins our league the first year.
We're going to have to go back and see how many you got right.
Okay.
See how many we got right, yeah.
Okay, so who's the next team?
So that was the second pick that you had?
29, 28, so we're at 27.
Okay, so Minnesota Wild.
Oh, man.
Via Pittsburgh.
So Minnesota, they're a bag of butts. So I'm going to go with, I think they're going to need a defenseman as well. And they're going to, I hope I say this right, he plays in the KHL, Daniel Chaika.
Oh, I also have Daniel Chaika.
No kidding. So he's a forceful passer, which is pretty good. I don't know if that's great. Doesn't panic with the puck, but he can rush into transition to sit. Like, again, I'm reading on the forecheck, so shout out on the forecheck. I should probably be reading The Athletic considering I subscribe to that. But I just picked something random and we're going to have fun with this. And that's what we do on the PP1 podcast. We don't talk about the Canucks power play effective rate. We just go into random stats. So I'm going to go with Daniel Chaika as the defenseman for said team, Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, obviously I like that pick. I picked Daniel Chaika too. So big guy, only going to get bigger. He's got a bomb first shot. He can handle the puck, quality skater. He's won at like every level that he's ever played at, right? He's one of those guys that came over to Canada and played in the dub, like is it the dub? Played in the played junior hockey early at like 15, right? Not
okay.
So and then back and then was selected to go play in the World Junior team, but like
good for him.
Struggled a little bit. So same thing. I think he's going to have a role in the NHL, but just what role is he going to have? Is he going to be a shutdown guy? Is he going to be is he going to be a big minute Mitch Muncher guy? He's got the skills to play, but like how good can he be essentially?
Okay. Well, I like your reasoning on that because I'm going based on name and probably something that looks flashy when I see it. So typical. That is me in a nutshell. Who do we got for the next? Here, just quick stop. I think, how many picks did we say we were going to do originally? I think we should do 10, 10, and 11.
Okay. Yeah.
I think then that spreads it out over a couple episodes. People want to come back. We got to keep them coming back.
I'm for that. I think it's great.
Okay. So who do we got now?
So the next pick is Columbus Blue Jackets via Toronto.
The CBJ. Well, they've got a lot of problems at center. And I think it's probably...
this is the 25th pick.
Yeah. It's probably becoming of them... that you know what? I think they're going to reach for a guy. They're going to go with Oliver Kapanen.
Oh,
out of is it the Finnish league, the U20 Finnish league, SM Sarja? That I think that's a Finnish league. I'd probably be fair to say. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Quick skater with stride hiccups, basically like my car was this past week till I put new spark plugs. So maybe he just needs spark plugs in his game. See, look how good I am at this, right? Doesn't always have the speed to attack defenders well, but could be a good possession player. He's basically what the Canucks were hoping Jake Virtanen would be. So it's a project player. So Columbus is hoping to nail a home run on a project player. Oliver Kapanen. Yeah. So it's a reach. They've got him ranked as 44.
So that is a reach. That's a guy that like late second round that they're going to take in the first round. But I mean, that stuff could happen this draft, right? Because of the amount of guys that didn't play, the lack of scouting that's gone on.
Yeah.
Guys playing in different leagues completely, like all sorts of CHL guys playing in Europe on big ice, which they're not used to. So I have the Columbus Blue Jackets taking Sasha Pustoyov. Plays for the United States Development Program, the National Team Development Program. He gets like picked on a little bit because he's like, they say he's not a great skater, but like I don't think it's enough where it's going to hinder him at the NHL level. If you remember, Bo was the guy that got picked on a little bit because his skating, he improved to the point where he was actually selected to skate in the fastest skater competition at the All-Star game. I don't know if that really means anything, but the guy can. I mean, it's not a hindrance, right?
No.
So I mean, super smart player. He was one of those guys on the team that had a ton of points. He was the other lethal goal scorer on that squad. He's going to Notre Dame next year to go play. He's going to develop a little bit more in the NCAA. And you know what? You could find a good player with yourself and late in the first round and probably do worse than picking up a guy like Sasha Pustoyov.
So I can't even find him on this list. So I'm just I'm assuming he's a real human being.
Could be a reach.
Oh, here we go. They had him as 42 on this one I'm looking at. So yeah, that seems like a bit of a reach. But you know what? We're not pros here. I'm not. Who do we got? Who's our next team here? This is pick 5, I think, right?
Yeah, this would be pick 24.
Okay.
To the Florida Panthers.
Ooh, Florida. So they've got a little bit going on over there. Do they need a forward? Are they going to go crazy and get a goalie? Probably not. I think, you know what? You had Scotty Morrow going over there. I think they're going to get Scotty Morrow with Florida Panthers for all the reasons you kind of got into. Big guy. They can start building off, building on that back end there. And by the time he's ready to go, what's his pickle? Freaking Ekblad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is he going to still be there?
Who knows?
So now you've got a guy that I'm not saying he turns into that, but you can groom another defenseman. You can never have enough defensemen Show me a team that has too many defensemen. You can't. You need them. By the time the Stanley Cup's over, unless you're just like a one-off elite, wrecking crew, you need a lot of defensemen. At some point, you're going to go through extra guys. So, Scotty Morrow.
Florida
Florida Panthers.
Good player. I think it's one that we like. So I got them going back to the U.S. national team development program, taking Sean Barron's undersized defender, mobile, understands gap control.
You got him as a defenseman too. See?
Yeah. He doesn't, understanding the gap control so well. Quinn is like a guy that gets gap control, so you don't have to get involved physically.
Right.
But the good thing, even though he's a small guy, he does get involved physically. Actually, doesn't shy away from the contact. He's quick in transition. So kind of a weird pick because some of these smaller defenders don't make it all the time, but it's a brave new world out there, right? So, yeah. Maybe.
Well, we're seeing that a lot now, right? It's the guys that are fast, the guys that are shifty, and that they're playmakers. They've got good hands. This isn't your father's NHL anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we're fathers, so it would be our kids' fathers in NHL. So that makes sense. So it's someone's father's NHL. Somebody's. Who do we got? Who's the next team? This is pick number 6.
Yeah, so this would be pick 23 of the Detroit Red Wings via Washington.
Okay, so they're going to want... Do they have another pick?
Yes.
Where they're picking probably pretty high, hey?
They pick like 6th, I think. Yes,
okay.
6th.
So they're going to probably go on... do they need a goaltender? They probably do.
Probably, yeah.
You know what? Sebastian Cossa. They're going to go Edmonton Oil Kings. He's a pretty decent size goalie. Doesn't overuse our favorite term, the reverse VH. He's not a big fan of the sauce. So he's a smart goalie. He's again, I'm going on base what they've said. I've never seen this guy in my life. Quick stick to bring in rebounds, uses forceful T pushes. So anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's pushing off like front. You know what I mean? He's good. He's square on the puck. That's one of my things for goaltenders. And it makes me sound like I'm super smart. But it is one of those things that you can tell a really good goaltender is square to the puck. And I know that sounds like basic. It sounds like something you'd learn in goaltending 101.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Well, that's a little bit further than goaltending 101. When you're square to the puck, if it's shot at you, there's only so many places that puck can go. There's a very good chance it hits you, or it's going to be somewhere in your vicinity. If you're square to the puck, usually you're eliminating options in your corners. You're eliminating a lot of the net. When you're not square to the puck and you're a little bit more of a risky goalie, you're a little bit more challenging, you're going to be giving up potential, a deke. You're going to maybe get, your jockstrap blade out there. There's a lot more options. You might be relying on maybe a bit more of a miraculous save where your defenseman or your forward's going to have to bail you out because you're a little bit more challenging. When you play square to the puck, you play simple hockey. You play boring hockey, but it works. Roberto Luongo did that in 2010 and then again in 2011 when he really showed it off. Actually, Corey Schneider did a great job of that as well. I know I'm bringing back 2011. That was some of the best goaltending I have ever seen. Carey Price is actually playing a lot of that right now. And it's fun to watch. I love goaltenders. So,
yeah, I mean, he's the number 2 ranked goalie in this draft. But, I mean, and he is athletic too, right? But when you talk about guys like Demko is another one. Mm-hmm. Those guys that are athletic goaltenders, but then when you have them square up and be really economical in their movements, then when it doesn't pan out for you, when you're not square to the puck in a situation, you have that athletic ability to fall back on to try to make that reliably save, but you shouldn't have to depend on that save specifically, right?
You should get it done on the first play. You should have it done off of the first shot.
But sometimes stuff happens, right? Sometimes there's a cross crease play that if you aren't athletic, you're just not getting to it. So
for sure. So I think Detroit goes goaltender on that one. They can afford to take a little bit more upfront talent on their higher pick. So I think that'd be kind of cool. You see a Detroit Red Wing a WHL guy get chops in a pretty awesome franchise. So who do you have going to Detroit?
I actually flirted with Detroit taking Jesper Wallstedt.
Oh,
early.
Interesting.
At 6. So
who knows?
Who knows though, right? Yeah,
right?
Who knows?
maybe
I don't think you have to reach on goaltending. I think we've all seen that, right? You can get quality goaltenders that become high-level starters in the second round or third round.
I think so. It's reaching when you know there's probably other talent out there.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I have Stevie Y gets his guy. I mean, I don't know if this is his guy, but I think he's falling a bit in Matt Coronado. But he's one of the great finishers in this draft. He popped 48 goals in the USHL last year. I know that's not crazy competition, but he was clearly a dominant player in this. Very maybe similar to the BCHL, which we've seen some good players come out of. So I think this kid can play. A lot of other mocks have had this guy going in the second round, but I think this is a guy that probably would fit in really good in a system like Detroit. So Matt Coronado.
Beautiful. Okay. So we're on to pick 7, which would be pick 22, I think, right?
Yes. You can go back to Minnesota.
Minnesota, you effers. I don't know if this is his kid or not, but they're going to go after a center from the Sioux Falls Stampede, Cole Sillinger.
You bet your balls it is.
You know what? Is it his kid? So this will be the first team that he plays for in the NHL. First of many, most likely. That being, skating is a major flag. Is that good or bad? He struggles with speed and his mechanics are all over the place. Takes too many strides. Possesses good offensive zone vision and can feed incoming teammates. Great shooting talent. Too predictable. But you know what? Minnesota's pretty predictable.
Yeah, and how I think you hear this sometimes with bloodline players being too predictable.
Yeah.
But they're bloodline players, right? They've seen the league at such an early age. They get it. They know what works, what doesn't work. So I wonder if it's possible that he and his dad somehow managed to play for every single team in the NHL. That would be pretty rad.
So that maybe they combine to have every jersey.
Yeah, they'd be some weird record, right?
That
like
would
family with the most teams played for in the NHL. It's probably the Sutters right now. I don't know.
The Sutters they're up there for sure. That would be interesting because Brandon Sutter's had a pretty colorful career. Hey, he's got a handful of jerseys.
Yeah,
his pops and his uncles, they've all dabbled. So that's interesting.
Dabbling happening there. Yeah,
dabbling. So who's your Minnesota Wild guy?
I have the Wild selecting Samu Tomelia.
Yeah, I was wondering about him.
Yeah, played in the SM Liga, so spent some time playing in the men's league out there. So a young guy playing in a men's pro league, kind of a cool thing. Like really a fantastic skater. The guy can really shoot the puck. He the way he forechecks, he might look more like an energy forward. Just basically being a little bit smaller, but he's like 5'10", 175. But I think there's a little bit more offense in there just for the way he can rip the puck, right? So who knows? I think he's probably going to spend some time. He's definitely a project player. He's not going to come over and play in the NHL right away. So you're going to spend some time on him. But yeah, could be a nice player down the road.
There you go. I like that. Both good picks. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We're going into pick number 8, which would be pick 21. Who's at 21?
That would be the Boston Bruins.
Do you want to? You can go first.
Okay, yeah. I have him taking Zachary Lahiro.
Oh.
My best French spin on that. He's like a thick guy. He's like 5'11", maybe like 200 pounds. But he's super strong on the puck. He's a force down low. He's like a really tough player to play against, and he's got a temper. He's been suspended a couple times this year because of his temper. And to me, that sounds like a Boston player coming out of the QMJHL. So I feel like this could be a good pick for them.
You think they're going to pick a French guy out of
Marchand?
Yeah, that's fair. You got me there.
Bergeron.
Yeah, okay, that's 2. Got any more there, Smarty Pants? You got any more? You got any more over there? You got any more?
That's it.
There's another one I'm thinking of too, and I'm totally missing on this one. Right? There's one guy like tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it, and I'm gonna have it right after and be pissed off. So if I'm Boston, I mean, there's some good talent in there right now. I'm gonna go with you know what? I think they're gonna reach for Alex Bolduc's kid, Zachary Bolduc. I don't even know if that's his kid, but I'm betting it is. He's a center in the queue from Rimouski, Oceanic. Super intelligent player. Can be mismatched defensively or mitigated when playing center. Thank you on the forecheck, which I think is Predators SB Nation site. So we'll have to give them some love. Could be he could dominate with the puck when he's got it. His shooting skill is good, not great, and he cleans up rebounds well. I like that. I think that's the kind of guy that Boston could use. Maybe they're going to go after Sydney's alma mater via the Rimouski. So there you go, Bull Duke.
Could happen.
I hope I hit on at least one of these. Like I'm throwing darts, and I just feel like there's got to be at least one of these where I go, holy crap!
And what was it? It was Chaika or that we had the same pick, right? Yeah.
So wouldn't that be like a cheers moment there, like clanking beers? So we both did Boston, right?
Yep. So Edmonton is up now.
This is number 9. This is our 9th pick, and we've got it's getting scary, folks. It's getting scary. For the Edmonton Oilers, I don't even know. It seems like they're just fanning. So let's go with this.
Possibly fan again, yeah.
This feels like an Edmonton Oilers name to play. Samu Tuomala.
That's the guy that I had going 2 picks before this.
There you go. So he's clearly Swedish or maybe Finnish. I'm not sure.
Clearly Finnish.
Clearly, he is. What's the word I'm looking for? What are those 3 countries called? When you put them all together,
Scandinavian.
He's clearly Scandinavian. High pace. He's great in the neutral and offensive zone, so that's very fitting for the Edmonton Oilers. Nobody's going to challenge Connor McDavid. By then, he's probably going to be gone when he makes the team anyway. So. He's forceful, he's accurate, and he's a frequent shooter. So he gets
accurate.
He's fast, agile, and accurate. He likes being in the middle of the rink, so he's good at maybe setting up passes. So Samu, you're going to Edmonton, buddy. Pack your bags.
Hello, Samu. Go to Edmonton.
Hello, Edmonton. Hello, Cleveland.
All right, so we got the Preds at 19.
Wait, who did you pick?
Or no, Edmonton. Still around Edmonton, aren't we? Oh, my bad.
You did pick Edmonton.
Maybe this is why, because I had Carson Lambos going to Edmonton.
Oh, the car guy.
Yeah.
Carson.
But you talked about it already. Big dude, well-rounded defender.
Yeah.
Coming out of the Dub, which is kind of known for housing good defensemen.
And they need a defenseman. This team has fanned on 2 positions perennially, a defenseman and a goaltender. Mm-hmm. Start working on the defenseman at the very least.
Yeah. And I think like earlier, I think when draft rankings first started, I think he was much, much higher, but I think he's hurt himself the last little bit here, right? So he hasn't got to play a whole ton. So he's going to fall a little bit to Edmonton. He's kind of a jack of all trades type. So he's going to apply his trade probably out there for a little bit longer.
He's a Carson.
Yeah. He's going to play out there a little bit longer and then have time to develop his game. Maybe he ends up making it in, or maybe he's just another flop Edmonton Oilers pick defenseman that never really sees a light of day and plays for this team.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Who do we got? Who's our last pick for this episode?
The last pick for this episode is Nashville.
Ooh, I got
this
a good
would be the 19th pick.
Okay. So this is going to be, I'm torn between 2 guys. I'm not going to lie. So I know you guys are probably wondering, like, Ryan, like, you've had all this time to look over all of the eligible players for the first round. I know, but I'm not sure if I just want to go with a generic forward or an actual position player. So I'm going to go with a forward because I'm not sure where they're going to slot him in. But all the way out from the VHL, Ross Togliatti, his team. Fedor Svechkov. So he's not Svechnikov. They got rid of a few letters, and this is his name. And so he's a mature player. He's an adept passer, as they say, moves well with the puck in transition, creates his own rush or can rush his own passes at times. So he's, maybe he's a little quick to draw. Again, he's young. He's an average skater, which we've said about other players before. People are saying they'd like to see him move his feet a little bit earlier when preparing for breakouts. So maybe not, but he's a solid defensive player. So maybe he's a future Selke Award winner. We'll have to keep tabs on him.
I like it.
Like I said, I really wasn't sure, but I felt like Nashville, this is probably a guy that he can make a difference. So And again, you're not going to see him. He's going to be a first rounder, but I feel like you're going to see like their second or third rounder before him.
I like these picks because you're kind of looking at these guys like we're all kind of looking at these guys like what's the best case scenario? Like what do I get if everything goes right? Like was Nashville thinking that they got Shea Weber when they picked Shea Weber? Like 100% no.
I hope so.
But they were thinking that they probably got themselves like a serviceable defenseman that probably was going to play, right? So
they just didn't talk to me. No one ever talks to me when these drafts come up. Hey, arguably the greatest draft of all time. Don't go Dion Phaneuf. Maybe go Shea Weber.
Well, Dion had a pretty good career too, right? I mean,
it was clear there was a better defenseman.
Yeah,
I will stand by that. So, anyways, who did you have as Nashville's first round pick?
I have Fabian Lysell falling to the Predators, which I think is a big fall, right? I mean, the guy is probably the best skater in this draft. He can absolutely burn.
You think he's going to go all the way to 19?
He's got a great shot. He can wheel snipe silly all day. And he's got hockey sense to match. I think he's so good, right? The reason I think he falls to Nashville is because of all these like character concern bullshit that's coming out of basically the two teams that he played for last year.
Right.
But for me, this was just a guy that wanted to get some actual playing time.
Right.
And requested a trade, got a trade, starts playing, starts putting up good points. So if character issues is a guy that's pushing for playing time in his development year as a junior, then I'm okay with that.
Okay. And you know what?
Plus he just seems like a Predator, honestly.
I was going to say, just based on kind of what I do know about him, that is a name I know. This is a name I know. This is a name I know. He sounds like he'd be a fun guy in Nashville. And they've had some pretty fun players on that team.
Yeah, totally.
You know, he's of the ilk of the Martin E. Rats I'm just kidding.
It's funny, right? You start doing these draft picks and you're like, hey, I'm going to take this guy here and then this guy here. And you're like, oh, wait a second. I kind of like this guy better on this team. And it makes more sense if this guy takes this.
Yeah. So
move some stuff around.
So that was our first go here. And as I said, Ted, you've clearly done some homework and you're a little bit better on the prospect side of thing on the draft. I'm not as heavy into that. There's the odd year where I do know a good chunk of these guys. I'm going in absolutely blind. At the same time, I'm not stupid. I do know what a lot of these teams need. I'm having a little bit of fun with it as well. But I'm looking at realistically what these guys could be getting. So, yeah. I mean, this is fun. I think you're definitely not coming to our podcast for the elite mock drafts, but this is going to be the best one that you listen to. It's the most funnest mock
and
draft.
It's who can be the most right at the end of it. Right?
Yeah. If I hit one, honestly,
you're going to hit more than one.
You think?
I think so.
Wow. I appreciate it.
I mean, you don't know anything about football, but you always seem to get a lot right in those mocks.
That's true. I do. I appreciate that. It shows up when I make the playoffs and lose in the first round. I'm a perennial Vancouver Canucks when it comes to fantasy football. Like, I'll make the playoffs. And then I lose in the first round. I get a bye in the first round, lose in the second round.
Oh, which reminds me, we have to consummate our trade.
That's true.
I forgot to post that.
Also, did you see that the Ball Hawks, they want to create a podcast league? I think we should get in on this. I think you and we can win this thing.
We'll be there as representative one.
I think we could be a juggernaut. I do.
Yeah, we'll have to call ourselves the Juggernauts.
The Juggernauts. I like that.
Yeah.
Just like 2 jugs of beer.
Jug or not?
Or jug. maybe they're jugs. I have no idea. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for pushing that. Next week we will get into the next 10.
Yeah, we'll hit 8. We'll do 18 through 11 or something like that, and we'll save 18 through 10, and we'll save the top 9 or maybe the top 10 for the week after that.
Yeah. So we're getting close to episode 100 at that point. So that'll maybe lead up because 90, 97, 98. So it'll be our 99th episode, the Wayne Gretzky episode when we finish our mock draft. So lots to go on, and maybe we'll find out new things that are going on. Maybe there'll be some trades.
Maybe they won't even have the pick by then.
Maybe it'll be gone. So a couple things before we close out here. Again, I'm going to reference the Ball Hawks podcast for a second. They did did you listen to last week, the Father's Day episode?
I'm not done it yet.
Okay. So they did the third down segment. Are you there yet?
I'm there.
So the dads, right?
I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm there.
So I felt that they did a massive disservice to an honorary mention, Carl Winslow. So
Carl Winslow wasn't there?
he was in there as honorary mention. So here's what I'm going to ask you, because I'm assuming you watched a lot of Family Matters. Did you not?
Absolutely.
So here's a tough one. Don't go on the celebrity status here. If you had to pick the better dad, I mean, this is an awful conversation because they're both absolute like rock stars. But if you were going to pick the dad between Uncle Phil and Carl Winslow, who as
Uncle
the
Phil.
TV, I said, just wait. Carl Winslow or Uncle Phil? And you're going Uncle Phil. Why is he the better dad?
Because he took on a kid who wasn't even his.
That's easy.
He took him from West Philadelphia.
Born and raised, I hear.
Yeah. And then he put him through like an expensive private school and got him an education.
But he had the money to do it.
Yeah, taught him about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and yeah, man, for sure, it's got to be. I mean, Carl Winslow just wanted to get rid of Steve the whole time.
He wanted to get rid of Steve. Steve wasn't related though, but
no,
he was
a good kid.
He was a good kid. But you look at like what he was teaching Eddie and Laura, and like he was as a dad, like he's a cop, right? Wasn't he
a cop?
He was a cop, wasn't he?
I'm a cop. Yeah, of course he's a cop.
Yeah, I'm thinking
it was basically the same character from Die Hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, he tackled there's some pretty big issues on there. I mean, I remember there's some pretty hard hitting stuff. I'm pretty sure, like I think there was an episode that I remember seeing, like there was a racism episode that I felt was really deep, and like he kind of came because Eddie had been, I think, targeted for something, and I think Eddie had got arrested or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, and like. He kind of went into it. I remember thinking like, man, like this is like they were, I remember them dealing with realer issues than, and I mean, again, Uncle Phil, phenomenal character as well. But I remember like Family Matters was more of like a real family. It felt like somewhat more relatable.
Well, I mean, you're not talking about a family that was living out in Bel Air. I see what you're saying.
They're like the every family, right? And I mean, they had issues. There's the comedy with Steve in there as well. But I just felt like there was a lot. Stefan, yeah, that was
Stefan or Kel.
That was super weird. Hey, that was so weird when he kind of was like cool and slick. What's that? So I don't know. My vote goes to Carl Winslow. I think he could take down the best of the dads out there.
I would bet that out of all the dads they picked, that Carl probably makes it in there, but that Uncle Phil probably finishes near the top.
Oh, he's in there. He's definitely on that Mount Rushmore, I would think.
Yeah.
Now, who wins in a battle then? Carl Winslow or Carl from Dinosaurs?
Oh, they're basically the same person.
We're pretty close, right? So you're comparing a fictional lizard man to actual hard, So
good one. Those guys got a good thing going with the third down segment. I applaud Chris for coming up for those matchups every week.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoy their stuff. And finally, before we go, you were kind of highlighting it. Have you seen Loki?
Yeah. I have to watch the second episode now.
Okay. So I'm going to leave it alone, but just in its state, phenomenally done so far, right?
Oh, that's my favorite Marvel character.
See, I'm a Thor guy. I think we had this conversation.
Thor is also great. It's the Thor series actually that makes it for me.
But I look at both of these, and after seeing both episodes, and actually the third came out, so Christine's went to bed. This is a tough one because I would really like to watch episode 3 because it's getting so good right now. But I'm looking at both of them. Like I like his mischievousness, but I love that Thor is just an absolute gong show, and yet he can just kill it at the same time. So
yeah, he's great.
That's been great. And then I am halfway through Breaking Bad season 4. So they're just about to buy the what's it called? The car wash. That hasn't happened officially yet.
Good stuff, yeah.
She's making it happen, and it looks like Walt is getting a little bit iffy on. He looks like he wants to kill Gus. So that's not so good. I don't know if he should be doing that. So he's got a good thing going, making meth. I think he just needs to settle down and keep it low profile. You don't go vigilante justice. Like, yeah, you saw a dude get gutted in front of you. That's gonna shake you up, I'm sure. But
I was surprised.
yeah, it was pretty real at that moment, if you will. So this has been a fun episode. Actually, we've gotten through some of the heavy hitting stuff. We've talked probably about absolutely nothing aside from the mock draft. That was the only real substance, I feel. I guess the sit-ins were pretty good too. So, any final words? I guess we should bring up our summer skates. We should bring that up. You need to do posts. You need to get something out there for the people.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. You're on probation now.
We'll get it done.
And we got stuff from our good friends. I'm going to do this. I'm really trying to be as good as this as possible. Beyond the green, beyond the green, beyond the green. They have given us a wicked swag bag, so I'm going to put that together. Maybe we'll do 2. I'm not sure. Summer skates are going to be involved in there as well. I think I'm going to get a PP1 hat made. Kind of like the black, like our sandals. Kind of like a corresponding hat to go with the sandal. What do you think?
I like it.
And then we got some of those stickers. I'm going to throw a couple stickers in there as well. Those are pretty neato, hologram looking. So I think prize wise, we're getting there. We're gonna give away some hefty stuff.
Yeah, it'll be good. This will be good swag for the Hundy P episode.
Exactly. Any final words, sir?
No, man, I'm good. I think that was fun. I had a lot of fun with this one. It was it didn't seem like there was a whole ton to talk about, and then we got into the draft stuff, and then the Sedin thing happened, and before you know it, I say this all the time, I didn't think there was going to be enough stuff to talk about every single week when it came to Canucks, and there always seems to be.
They're an interesting team, and maybe by the next time we chat, we'll be talking about Tyler Toffoli in the Stanley Cup final, paying immense dividends to the Montreal Canadiens for Jim Benning being an absolute moron. So that
sometimes
could be
very interesting.
Sometimes you run out of time. They just don't pick up the phone. So everybody, this has been a lot of fun. Make sure you follow us on our social accounts on Twitter, on Instagram. Make sure you check out our Summer Skates promo, the 3-for-1 thing. We want you to win. We're going to make sure that you get hooked up. Also, make sure to vote on which Summer Skate will get produced. The black with the white square, the white with the black square. I don't know what's going to happen. So make sure you get on there. We are proudly, I'm good with English, presented on the Dean Blundell Network. We're partnered with Summer Skates. On behalf of Ted, I'm Ryan. This is the PP1 Podcast, episode number 96, the Bure episode. Peace out. I don't know how to end an episode.